Hey, everybody. If you're watching the replay, I'm just waiting for anyone to log in. Happy Wednesday, March the 12th. And we are now live. Lots of exciting things going on. I'm just going to give a couple of moments and we can get started. Let's see if I'm sharing this correctly. Good. Yeah, I probably need to do a better job of promoting these. Just so you know, number one, I'm Larry Hernandez. RecruiterDNA is my website and community. And we are doing booking live workshops right now for the AI Recruiter DNA Accelerator program. Everyone who joins the program will have access to the community that you're seeing now. And then there are, if you go to members, there are people here, looks like 88 individuals who sometimes come in because they want to just, maybe I post something and they want to read more about it. Maybe they're thinking about taking the class. Maybe they've already taken one of my classes. And so the whole goal for Recruiter DNA, which actually I think was created in 2011, I created it. It was just a community of recruiters that want to share best practices, help each other out, kind of like learn, share, grow, because I didn't really find that back then. And even now, it is tough. There are a couple of them. Facebook groups, for some reason, I've tried doing Facebook, just didn't feel it. It just seems like it's like 1 or 2% of people asking the same questions over and over again because they can't find the information on Facebook. The Facebook groups, they stopped really developing it. So I just wanted something a little bit more organized. And you can always go to courses up top, events for anything live, members, leaderboard. But if you go home and you look on the left, there is a share and learn, right? And so this is where you can post, kind of like a Facebook group. If you have a question, I get questions also. You can just send me a chat in here that says, hey, Larry, we're looking at buying this tool, or hey, Larry, have you heard of this? Or what do you think about this? And I'll give my opinion if I know it, or we can just ask the community. It's really new. So even though there are 88 people, it's basically right now just me. And as we grow, it takes a certain, if you study communities, if you've ever been asked to stand up a community, let's just say for your company or for yourself, you'll realize that, there's stages. And then once you get everything set up, you've chosen a platform, you've got it organized, which in itself is a whole thing. Then you got to get people to go, to actually come in. And people are shy. In the word, I'm not calling you this, but in the community lingo, it's called a lurker. I've even placed people to help communities. It's just, you'll look, you'll click, you'll take in information, but you're not the type of person that's going to start typing in. So then sometimes you get people who post a lot of stuff and advertise too much. So it is an ongoing thing. I just want to have a place where I can point people if they need help. I can help you. If you take the workshops or the courses, you will have a private space where your cohort or your company or your team can ask me questions at any time. And then I encourage you to invite people. I want this to grow and see what we can do. But yeah, and let me see. And also, you can post and you can go live, or if you've got something going on, if you're writing a book, if you're working on a project, if you need something, just ping me. It's just like Facebook or LinkedIn. Find me, ping me, ask, hey, is it okay if I post, or just post it, and then I will. You just go in here. It's your community as well, and then you could even host your own things here. Eventually, I'd love to get Recruiter DNA members to host their courses and workshops and just have this like the place to be. If you want information right now, it's AI related, right? Because that's what's on my brain, using AI, best practices, because that's what I'm doing. But really, I mean, in the past, I've had, some of my focuses or obsessions are like culture, right? Hiring, screening, defining what culture is. Right now, that's not too hot. It used to be. Sourcing, Boolean search strings, getting to the nitty gritty research. And I love that kind of thing. Automation, business best practices, innovative solutions. I love being a part of your meetings and companies I've worked for. And I can just, if I can hear you really talk about the problem and ask you some questions, I am love coming up with simple solutions, with either tools you already have, or sometimes we just have things in the wrong order, or we inherit problems. Love helping people. And AI is finally giving me the conduit to go from, hey, I like recruiting and I make videos and I do stuff for you, to really having a platform, creating tools, creating solutions. I'm just so excited to be around during these times. In that vein, there's also recruiterbits.com. Now, I do training, I do workshops, but there's a lot of individuals who are just too busy, or maybe they just don't have the time to learn. So if you go to recruiterbits.com, and you can try it out for free, these are all these folders are a logical order of a standard recruiting process. And inside of these are pre-built tools that I've created using OpenAI and ChatGPT. These are what we would call custom GPTs. And we build this in my workshop now. And so, you can, as I still work, as I occasionally take a retained search or a contingent search in the tech world, as I am working, I sit there and I go, it's like the Benjamin Franklin theory. You give the hardest job to the laziest person and they will find the quickest way to do it, right? So I don't want to call myself lazy, but I don't like busy work. I don't like doing things. When I do something, I know that the next time I do it, it should be easier, faster, and get better results. So if someone says, hey, I'm working in the wildfire mitigation industry, I'm like, I need to do some research. And when you Google it, you don't always get the best thing. So now you can just go here, put the industry in, and it'll give you not only an industry overview, but from the recruiting lens, right? So you're going to get some things like hiring, you're going to get a snapshot of, oh, look, there's a talent shortage, high turnover rate. Really just a nice tool if you have to jump on a meeting, work with a new client, just to kind of get an overview. The classic Glassdoor review, you put in a company, and all you got to do is type in the company at the bottom and hit go. And what it does is it goes out and looks like, in this case, Target. It goes out there and just gives you a snapshot through the lens of a search consultant, so we can see, what am I up against? So I do this if I'm going to take on a new client or I'm researching a discovery call with a new client. I want to see what I'm up against, because what happens is we do all these things and then you make these, you have the briefing call, you get the job description, you negotiate your rate, you get your sourcing plan, you build this amazing multimodal candidate sequence with emails and this and that. And when you're on the phone, or the people that are saying, no, thank you, you're like, why? Right? Because that affects everything. And sometimes it's just a bad brand. They've got an issue. They've got a PR issue, bad work-life balance, low comp, no job security. And the people in that industry know that, just like where you don't want to work. So it's always nice to use this and just talk about it while you're working with a new client. Oh, really cool tool. Mostly for those who have their own company or agencies, or your job is to get new clients. You post a job, right? I mean, I'm sorry. You go to one of your competitors, or let's just say you see a staffing company in your territory or in your niche, and it's posting a job and you want to know who that client is. You post it, and then you tell me, or you tell the tool what agency it is. That way it won't try to find that exact job posting. And then in this case, I did a demo. I posted a job description and it found another agency, and then I asked it here, let me get this. Right. So I copy and pasted a job and it's probably, and it found it. It's probably Elevations Credit Union. This goes back to my days at Robert Half when I was on the marketing desk and we would look at the paper. And if my job is to get my team new leads and new jobs, you know, it's probably still that way. The number one hurdle is finding companies who are using firms already, whether it be direct hire, staffing. That is all you have to do is be better, right? Just be better than your competition. So if another staffing company is already posting it, at least now we know that there's someone in your market who's using the services and it's free. Or if you want to use a lot of these, you know, it's like $29 a month. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. So I encourage you to go take a look. But if it's something you're doing, I've probably got a tool for it. And if not, you can always go to getting started here and fill out this form and say, hey, it would be cool if you could make a tool that did this. And I get those requests from time to time. Also, if you're a business owner or an independent consultant, I've got a couple of, I guess, talking to a couple of companies that want me to build this for them internally. So instead of recruiter bits, it would be, you know, login dot staffing company, and only your employees or you can log in, and you could either select from some of these pre-built ones, or we could have a discovery call, get on Zoom, and then I could kind of like interview whoever it is on your team who's doing that task. And what I do is I just create as best I can an automation. I call it automation, some code in the back that'll make it simple for your team to get stuff done. And that is the big problem. That's why I have morphed my recruiter training from last year into this program, is because it is hard. There is no solution right now that if you say, if you're finally realizing, I know I need to get AI in, okay, I'm under pressure to buy a tool. The market is uncertain right now. Who wants to make a 1-year commitment or a 3-year commitment to an enterprise tool that doesn't even work with my system? And through trial and error, myself, and through just pure obsession, what I've done is let's use the tools that are solid, industry best, but aren't that expensive, and let's customize it to your workflow. So just get ChatGPT, the $20 edition. If you have that, we can really create some custom solutions inside of your ChatGPT because you have projects, and then we can make custom GPTs. But before we get there, right? So I've broken this down into 3 phases. That green phase is the build the bear. We're building solutions together, and it is amazing. But I don't want to leave you hanging, and I want to teach you how to fish. I don't want you to be dependent on everybody. I'm glad that we're talking. I'm glad we're going to work together, but I want you to have that AI first mentality so you can be that person at your company that leads the charge, right? Everyone needs an internal AI advocate. So this, let me change the view here. This is Miro, by the way. I'm using this to do my workshops. So I'm trying to practice. So, you know, this is the roadmap that I had help in building. Instead of just training, we're going to actually take you step by step. We're going to take your team step by step. If you're an independent consultant, we're going to take you step by step. It doesn't matter if you have any experience, as long as you have that growth mindset, right? And you show up and you do the homework and you fill out the onboarding form. I'm going to go in a live workshop and we're going to take this step by step. And the reason I do that is because everyone's different. Sometimes we fly by phase 1, but phase 2, you're having trouble. And that's why I don't just want this to be pre-recorded. I really want you to get this, right? And if you're an owner, I want your team to get this. So it's really, really cool. We go through in the red, it's the AI foundations, and it's through running hundreds of students through this course, through my courses, figuring out what their problems are. And so the number one thing is we're going to switch your mind. We're going to change your mindset. And then we're going to teach you ChatGPT's mindset. And together, you're just going to really, really going to get you ready and open to the next phases. But I tell people all the time, you know, ChatGPT, English is not its first language. Language, it's not its first mode of communication. And that's a problem. If you've ever had to have a conversation and have only, one person that's going to translate English to something else, and then something else into tokens, there's going to be a little bit of friction point. So by understanding, number one, how to think about working with ChatGPT, number two, how does ChatGPT work? And it's not too academic. We're actually just going to I'm kind of going to give you the answers to the test. And then I'm going to share with you the number one way to format your tasks. And we're going to go through an exercise, and I'm going to give you a tool, and we're going to make that happen. And that's going to be your foundation. And it's really cool. It works. Um, we go to step two, which is exciting. And by the way, each one of these pages is eventually going to be its own workshop or its own course, because there are some people that just want this phase. This alone is a very valuable lesson in the workshop. In 3 steps, we're going to take you from frustration. ChatGPT sucks. It sounds like robot. It sounds like spam. And as we learn in the mindset in the last course, is that that's not a feature. I mean, that's not a bug. It's a feature. ChatGPT is meant to anticipate average Joe what they're going to say next. So if you want something special, we need to go behind the scenes, crack it open, and adjust it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take your brand and we're going to find your career website, YouTube videos, press releases. We're going to gather as much evidence as we can together, and the things are going to represent your brand, how they talk, the tone, the vocabulary, the cadence. And then we're going to pack it together in such a way that ChatGPT can understand. Then we're going to upload it, and then we're going to use a very complex but valuable prompt that turns that into a style guide. So from now on, whenever you want something that come out that sounds like your brand, we'll have that. You'll have that saved for you. It's really, really cool. And they get excited once they see, oh, so ChatGPT doesn't suck. I just wasn't using it right. And then in the last phase, in step 3 of the first workshop, we actually set up your ChatGPT account, because this is not a business tool. This was a research tool that kind of got popular, and all of a sudden we're all using it. It's not meant for business. It's not meant for recruiting or sales. So there are some things we have to do. And some of the problems I hear, if you see here, some of these common problems are, I keep having to tell ChatGPT what we just talked about. And that's frustrating. So I'm constantly having to, hi, I'm Larry, I'm a recruiter, I'm in the US, here's what I do. And it just, you know what? Some people just give up. They would just rather not do that. So we're going to organize your memory. We're going to organize custom instructions, tone. We're going to put that style guide that we built in the last session. We're going to connect it to your custom instructions. And then we're going to go over a workflow. We're going to get you ready to work. And that would be the first session of the workshop. And as we change color, now that you're all set up, now we start going through the standard recruiting process. No matter what it is, every recruiting process, you have to have a new job intake, right? You're going to have to agree with your client that this is what we're looking for. You're going to have to build a plan all the way to, I got to find people with sourcing. I got to email them and message them. I got to figure out if they're qualified. I've got to keep my account manager. I got to keep my client in the loop. I got to do this whole thing. And so what we do is there's 3 dedicated sessions. That whole workshop here is going to be going through that, like AI at work. So this is not academic. This is not like imagine. We're actually you're bringing jobs, you're bringing candidates, and we're going to work together. And then you're going to leave with those prompts and those systems that are set up in your ChatGPT. So it's just going to be like a little system, and you don't have to buy any more tools. I'm going to skip through the blue. The last session is the green. It's the Build the Bear. It's going to be my favorite. We're going to take your existing processes, your existing workflows. Every company should have its own special sauce, its own recipe. I always say Robert Half because that's where I cut my teeth out of college, and we had the recipe. This is how we do things. So some of the problems that I hear is that's cool. These AI tools are fine. I got vendors wanting me to do this, but that's not the way we do things. And by the time your company develops a tool, it usually doesn't perform. It usually doesn't connect with your other tools. So I'm saying let's just stay within ChatGPT, where I can build you something that you can access that you don't have to invest in, and you can just get in and get out, save your work, and everyone kind of goes, that's the place where you're going to go to get stuff done. We're going to get those processes that you use. We're going to pick, let's say, 3 that are core to your business, and we're going to create assistants. If you have chat GPT projects, we're going to build what I call promptware. That's my new term, but it is basically a little AI co-pilot inside of your ChatGPT. That way it's organized. Your employees don't have to go anywhere. It lives within. If your task is core to the company, if it's company wide, we're going to build a custom GPT. Custom GPTs, more robust. It is its own working. It's almost like a customized ChatGPT just for your process. And then we're going to build those projects that actually live within your employees' folder so they can get work done. It's super cool. It's done in 3 different stages. One, you're going to choose what we're going to build. We have to know what the end looks like before we can build it. So I've got some menus we can pick from. We can choose it. Then we're going to do a roundup. Just like we did when we're going to clone something, it's important that we train and we provide ChatGPT with everything she needs. Just like I told you got to change your mindset. This is not Google. This is not LinkedIn Recruiter. This is your AI robot assistant that is going to change the way you do things, or not. Your competitors are going to do it. People like me are going to do it. So you have to change your mindset and switch it to, this is now someone, like, there's a couple of ways I can explain it. You've just been given this robot brain. Okay. It's an experiment. It's the smartest thing in the world. It has access to all the knowledge in the world, but there isn't really an instruction set. So you're going to have to take the time and explain to it what you want. We're going to give it some background, just as if you had let's just say there was a new partner in your firm or someone equal to you. You would take the time on Teams and on Slack. You wouldn't just say, oh, this sucks. Like, give me some candidates. Oh, they suck. That's what people are doing to ChatGPT. They're giving it a shot and they don't like the results and they're moving on. We're gonna teach you how to give it some background. And that's what we're going to do here. If we're going to, let's say, automate sourcing, or at least build a bot, an assistant that's going to help you get really solid sourcing strings and target lists, let's give it a little bit of background. Let's give it some examples. And we're going to gather all that information, and then we're going to prepare it. We're going to prepare it to be uploaded in a way that there's no duplicates, in a way that ChatGPT likes to understand it. Let's see here. And then we're actually going to build this, whether it's a custom GPT or it's in your project. We're going to build it together, and there's going to be some bumps. We're going to have to kind of refine it and play with it. It's kind of a fun session. People are like, oh no, my assistant's talking French. Well, let's fix that, right? So we kind of go in there and just refine it together. And then the last stage, we make it live, right? So if you're using the projects, I make sure that you have everything loaded so that when we're done, you've got everything you need, right? So that's cool. And then, of course, just remember, everyone learns different, and you can always go to the community to have questions. I've had people ping me at 1 a.m. because they're maybe in a different time zone. Like, how do I do this? I have a project coming up, and I'm available for you. So that's my spiel. I'm super excited. Hey, Angelo's on. Hey, Angelo, we are building custom GPTs now in the workshop. So we need to schedule a time and take you through it. And then if you have ChatGPT projects, I'm going to do this just, well, actually, I want to show you one other thing. So I'm so busy with this, getting these workshops and getting everything ready, that I'm like, I wish I could build a bot that can kind of take care of my core recruiting. And so I'm using Operator. I'm going to play this video. What this video is, this morning, I thought, what's the first thing that I do in a search? I get the job description from the client. I put it into People GPT, and then I create the search, and then I look at candidates, right? That's just something we do. And I'm like, I wonder if OpenAI Operator could do that for me. So this is a video. Let me see how. And just so you know, Operator is OpenAI's little robot. It's a new tool. Like what you're doing here is you're watching Operator work. My hands are here. I just asked it to go to People GPT, take that job, create a new project. Now it got stuck here because it thought you could click. Remember, I'm not telling it how to use People GPT. That's the difference between the last generation where you could automate things. You know, if you ever had to automate things, you would have to say, go to project title field 3 and do this. What you're watching is Operator trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and they got it. Oh, I'm going to name it, you know. And so now this is it. Go into the job. It's going to paste it, and it's going to do what I would do. Okay, so it's going back and forth to two softwares that it's not familiar with. I was expecting a little bit more issues. So it's doing this. You're going to see it had issues because it's never used the software before. I told it to give it a 25-mile radius of Broomfield, Colorado. So it's learning. And one time it locked itself out. And when it needs help, it asks me, I got logged out. So as it was doing this, I was getting my second cup of coffee. I'm thinking to myself, dude, yeah, this is doing it for me. And I have continued on. And so I would say my next week, if I take the time and do this, because by the way, you can save these tasks and now it's going to learn. So now I can just say, hey, every morning, go to this job, set it up, source, and create some emails and send it. I'm going to automate the whole thing. So right now it found 5 profiles. What you're not seeing is that I told it, I think that's the end of this. Yeah, so I stopped it here because I was so excited. So while I was drinking my coffee, it went out, got the job description, created a project in my sourcing tool, and found 5 profiles. Okay. When I came back, it was ready. There was another session because I realized that Gloria works for that company. So in my prompt, I just kind of said, hey, let's double check to make sure no one is currently working for that company. And then let's add them to the shortlist. Now, I didn't tell it that shortlist was a feature. I didn't tell it how to do it. It sat there. Now it's slow, but guess what? I'm not paying by the minute, and it figured it out. It finally, it put 3 of them. It looked through all of these and it put them in the thing. So my next thing I'm going to teach you is how to write emails and go ahead and send it with my calendar. So I will have this fully automated, and I'm not writing any code. You do have to be patient with it because it's learning. But then you can save the tasks, right? So I can go to, let me back out here, go to Operator. Let's see, Operator. So this is how it looks. What can I do for you, right? Now you can see here, update CRM values, create a People GPT project, just go through candidates to make sure they're selected, create a new job. Oh yeah, so I have a new ATS. And I'm like, you have an ATS, you've got to get that job into the ATS. So I just said, do it. And it's like, okay, I need to log in. Well, I log in for it, and then I let it take control. So if you're asking me, can AI replace somebody? I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to say that I'm already through the hard part. And so now I just got to teach you how to write the emails that are really, really good and send them out. And then all I'm going to do is have calendar invites of candidates popping up that want to talk to me. right? And then I can have even ChatGPT prepare my questions. So, man, yeah, I really want you to learn this. Now, right now, this is nice because you could, if you pay for this, it helps me. This is helping me. I'm doing one thing, and Operator is doing some things for me, right? So that's really, really cool. Let's see. Let's see. Da-da-da. I was going to show Angelo this. So if you're in Chat GPT and you have projects here on the left, which are just folders, okay? In the workshop, we're gonna take advantage of something that most people aren't understanding. When you go to create a custom GPT, okay, the power of a custom GPT is that, let me go to one. Here's my style mimicker. This is a custom GPT. All you're doing is you're putting in your instructions, okay? It's just you're using the power of ChatGPT to do one thing or a few things, okay? That's all you're doing. Now, the cool thing is that I can load up some knowledge base. I can upload some files so it can learn, right? But if you look at ChatGPT projects, here's a project. If I go to instructions, whoa, I've got custom instructions in my project. So this is for my Recruiter DNA voice. If you go through the workshop and we clone your company's voice, you're going to come up with something like this, right? It's got the brand foundations, my tagline, my core beliefs for the company. We're not just a recruiting firm, we transform, right? It's got all that stuff that it came up with. My tone of voice, my brand architect, and I save it. So whenever I want something to like a career page messenger, I'll say, hey, help me create a, whatever. It'll talk in my brand, right? Now, before that was either prompting or a custom GPT. But this is handy because it just lives right here and I can have it. I can also train it. I can upload files. Hey, here's our career page. Here's some instructions. So now I don't have to have a custom GPT. Maybe your company doesn't let you build custom GPTs. Maybe that's intimidating. So now the question is, when do I build custom GPTs? When do I build projects? The answer to that is this. If it's something that's core to your business and it's going to be used a lot over and over again, you build a GPT. Now, if you need something that maybe you do, it's a step further where it's something that you want to live just because you right now, I don't think you can share projects across the board unless you have an enterprise edition. So this is more, how does Larry work, right? Larry needs to get ready for his one-on-one. Larry needs to get ready for interviews. Larry needs to do things. So you can just have folders here that mimic your work style. And then when you have an actual project, you could have a project, for each of your jobs, for each of your projects. If you're a manager, I would have a folder for each of my employees. So when it comes time for one-on-one, you can have their work and your instructions could be, hey, you know, you're a helpful coach that helps employees get past roadblocks, blah, blah, blah. I can help you build that. And then when it's time for coaching time for one-on-ones, you'll have a history of all the one-on-ones and see their progress. And you can actually chat with them and prepare. That's how I would use these, right? So that's pretty exciting. So I'm calling this promptware because it's powerful prompting that becomes software. And so that's pretty exciting stuff. Now, I have found this in a regular chat. If I want to, I don't know if you watch Star Trek. I think it's Star Trek. When they press on their buttons, they would hail, which just means call. I'm going to hail somebody, call somebody. When I'm in ChatGPT, if I hit the @ symbol, that starts looking for custom GPTs that I've made. So you don't have to go to your custom GPT. You can just put @ and look through your GPTs. And now I'm going to be talking to that particular thing. Think of ChatGPT as a one task thing. I create job postings that match our brand. I create sourcing strings. I create cold outreach. I prepare for one-on-ones. I do reports, right? So if I need a report, all of a sudden I could just, and it doesn't even have to be ones you built. You could find ones from the marketplace, right? That's cool. Right now, you cannot do that in projects, which sucks. I should be able to do yeah, but it doesn't find it. So hopefully that'll work, because that now we can have a system. So for now, that's why I think the custom GPTs have the one up, because anyone in your company can kind of find it, right? And so then it's just about having a logical way of these GPTs. So if you have a sourcing team, you would have step 1, step 2, step 3, and your team could just go to, when they have a new project, you could teach them, hey, if you have a new project, first thing, what do we do? You do at step 1. We're going to break down that job description in that org, and we're going to make sure we understand it and get ready for the intake. When you're ready, you could go at step 2. We're going to make some sourcing, so it's really powerful, and you don't need any other software. You don't need, I'm going to say 90% of the software out there can be turned into a prompt, right? And so that's my spiel. Obviously, I get excited about this. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, if you have any ideas, remember, if you need something ASAP, go to recruiterbits.com, and there's already a tool in there that works. I've probably already made it for you. If you want to learn, if you want to transform your team, you can go to courses, hit the AI Accelerator workshop, or just ping me and we'll set something up. The way this structure is going right now is that I just need to know how many people are going to be in the course. And then I'm using a Calendly, has a group scheduling calendar. So I would send it to you, and let's say there's 10 people that are going to take it. You guys can vote, pick a time. It's going to be on Zoom. We're going to jump on Miro. And what's really cool about the workshop is that it's got built-in tools inside of it. So you're not just going to sit here and like when we're building custom instructions, which looks like it's spelled wrong, you're going to click this button, and everyone's going to be logging in at one time and building things together within ChatGPT. So I don't think anyone is doing that kind of work right now. But yeah, that is it. I'm here for you if you need something, and I can't wait. I can't wait to help you. So I will see you Fridays. I'm going live. I need to do a better job of promoting it, and then Wednesdays I usually try to be here. So that is all for now. Thank you.